It's podcast time here at Solid Signal. It's November 25th, 2013, the week of Thanksgiving. I've got a few little bit of housekeeping things to go over first, so let's get started. The first thing I want to tell you is that Solid Signal's blog and the Signal Group forums are going to be closed on Thursday, November 28th. That's Thanksgiving. Why? Well, everybody needs a day off, but unfortunately, our hardworking IT staff has decided that they're going to upgrade all of our servers on that day, which is great for us. I do kind of feel bad for those guys, and I give them a shout out for working as hard as they do, keeping everything running as well as they do. The downside of it is we're going to be completely offline during that time when they're doing all those upgrades. You know, I really appreciate what these guys are doing, and it is Thanksgiving. As I said, everybody deserves a day off, even our servers. We'll be back up online as soon as we can. We're not going to put on a redirect page or anything like that because we're hoping that it will not have a super negative effect. The other thing to say is, of course, it is the week of Thanksgiving, and if you're listening to this on Thursday, possibly because the Solid Signal blog is down, I hope you're having a great Turkey Day. Spend some time with your family. Heck, make them all listen to the Solid Signal podcast. It's fun and entertaining. And heck, that's right, I just said heck twice in the same sentence. They might learn something. Now, I don't pretend that my podcast is one of the big boys, one of those ones that's listened to by millions and millions of people. And so when things change even just a little bit, I take notice. I noticed a couple of weeks ago when my podcast about daylight saving time was one of the most listened to ones in Solid Signal podcast history. It's not to say that it got those million views, but hey, it's something. And that tells me that you're interested in more passionate stuff. Not so much in tutorials, not so much in the news of the day. You want to see me go off the rails. And if that's what you want to see, you're going to see it, baby. This week I want to talk about physical media, by which I mean DVDs, Blu-ray discs, VHS if you're still stuck in the last century, that sort of thing. Physical media may have its best year ever in 2013, or its best year may have been in 2012, but at any rate, we are definitely on the downside of that hill. I hate to say it too, because I've spent a certain amount of money on physical media, and there was a time that boasting about your record collection or your book collection really made people understand the kind of person that you were. Those days are over. Physical media is over, it's dead, it's done, it's like Jimmy Hoffa, it's going to get buried and you'll never find it again. That's just the name of that tune. And it's the same reason, it's interesting, the discs themselves are dying for the same reason that the former largest purveyor of those discs died. Because inexplicably, something easier and something better has come around. Why did Blockbuster die? Blockbuster died because they made it so hard to rent the thing you wanted that people would much rather mail order it instead of just going around the corner and trying to find it. I mean, when your level of convenience stinks compared to waiting for something in the mail, that says an awful lot. As for physical media, well, of course, there's a certain matter of going out and getting it versus streaming it online from iTunes, Amazon, Google Play, or your preferred provider. But what about the convenience of just going to the other side of the room and getting the physical disc versus getting it on your TV? I'm not so lazy that I won't just stand up and get a Blu-ray disc, but the big problem for me is the amount of time it takes before I can actually watch. No question, Blu-ray disc still has the better quality. 100% better, and especially the larger TVs really show that off. But I don't want to wait 20 minutes just to watch the movie. When I push a button on my smart TV or my enabled device, it takes maybe 15-20 seconds, and I'm watching that movie. You know, I can rent it right from my TV, it just gets debited right off my credit card, it's easy. I pop that physical disc in my Blu-ray player, well, okay, a minute to load it, and then I've got a commercial telling me not to steal it because I already own it. Then I've got, maybe 15 minutes of previews, which I could skip past sometimes, and sometimes you can just skip past them chapter by chapter, and sometimes you have to fast forward, and then it takes about another minute to load, and finally, I've got the movie. Don't even get me started with those 15 to 20 seconds each little computer animations for every single studio that was involved in the thing. Because, I do understand you paid millions and millions of dollars for the thing and you want your name on it with your little animation. I get that. On the other hand, I'm the guy who's paying the dollars for it and I don't want that. So you need to get that. But really, it's more about all those commercials, about all that loading time. And it used to be that discs had a ton of special features on them. And then for some reason, marketing research or whatever, it was decided that discs didn't necessarily need to have those things. Or you bought it the day of the release and then 2 months later they came out with the version with the special features that you really wanted and you had to buy it twice. Certainly when you're talking about a bare bones disc and something that you're not really scrutinizing the quality, streaming is just good enough. It really is. It's not Blu-ray quality, but it is as good or better sometimes than cable delivered high definition. And that's really the bottom line. I can have it in 20 seconds just good enough. And if I don't care about the quality, I don't care about the quality as long as it's not so bad that it distracts from the experience. Or I can take 15 to 20 minutes before I actually get to the movie on physical media. And that, my friends, is what's killing that little disc. Of course, for the most part, the studios don't care because they have streaming deals with Apple and Google and Amazon and whatnot. And so, to the extent that it doesn't take away from their bottom line, they're perfectly happy to go straight to digital on this instead of actually having to do anything, make a physical disc, as it were. It is unfortunate that if you want to actually enjoy a little bit better quality, you may not even have the option to buy or order one of these things. How long before we see a major release that isn't available on physical media at all? Some of them are already available on iTunes a week before the physical media. Star Trek was. And, how soon before we don't see anything on any physical media? Of course, it'll be a while before all physical media disappears. After all, they're still putting out stuff on vinyl records, although it's just a few hipsters who actually listen to it that way. But the point is that physical media has seen its peak, and if you're a fan of the format, you really need to know that. You need to be looking forward to the next opportunity. That's about it for our blog this week. I hope I got angry enough for all of you and that you'll tell all your friends to listen to the Solid Signal podcast. Until then, have a great week.